You don't need more motivation. You don't need to go to YouTube or Spotify and listen to, David Goggins or, any of these guys. No, it fucking helps. If it gets you riled up, fantastic. But you don't need more motivation. What you need is discipline. You need discipline associated to a why. Because motivation only lasts so long. But, motivation doesn't build a better body. Motivation doesn't put food on the table for your kids. Motivation doesn't build this incredible life. Motivation is the starting point. But what you need, what will get you to where you want to go, is discipline, is commitment, is fortitude, is mental toughness. Because it is going to take longer than you think it is. It's going to take more effort, more consistency, more failures than you are willing to admit. It's going to take continually showing up and doing the work. That's why you have to have the discipline for it. Because motivation ebbs and flows. It comes and goes like the tide. But what you need and what you require is ongoing, consistent discipline to do the work. That's what moves mountains. That's what creates the life that you want. That's why we've spoken about before that being in great physical shape is a status symbol. Because it shows that discipline, it shows that consistency, it shows your ability to continually show up and do the work no matter what. And that's what is required. And discipline is such a rare feat, rare skill these days, that it is actually mind-boggling how rare it is. That the ability to consistently show up and just do the work, regardless of your feelings, regardless of how tired you are, to override that voice in your head is one of the greatest skills that you could ever develop. And one of the greatest things that you could pass on to your children. Because it is so rare. A work ethic with discipline and consistency is a rare commodity in today's world. And that's why I am aiming to inspire my children to pass this along to them, because I know from looking around the world that if I can grant them this one skill, this one trait above all else, if they can develop discipline and grit and fortitude, that they will be able to do anything they want in this life. Because that's literally what it takes. It takes grit and fortitude and showing up long after you think that you should quit. Long after you feel like that is enough. Long after you feel like maybe we should just call it a day. You just keep showing up. You do the work. You have discipline to continue moving forward. And discipline is one of those rare skills that builds on itself. So the more you enact it, the better it works. The more you utilize it, the better it works. I had one of those today, to share that, to be open and honest and share that truth with you. Today, I was struggling a bit, to be honest, and I almost caved. I almost called it. We're into this 6-week shredding program that I'm running for myself. It's all conditioning, and it's hard. It's a hard work, and I was nearly like, fuck this. I'm just gonna, in my lavish ways, gonna go buy some frozen berries, and I'm gonna have a kilo of frozen berries and honey tonight. And that's not what the plan says. And I was literally on my way to Coles, technically Woolies, to buy said food. And I caught myself. And I was like, this is not what you are fucking doing. This is not what you dedicated yourself to. And I was really proud of myself because that discipline muscle kicked back in. And as I said, it's one of those weird ones that builds, that gets better from use. And so it gets stronger Every time you do it, and we've spoken about this before, it's like a credit system. Except the penalties for withdrawals are astronomical, and the rewards for deposits are slow. But the long-term upside is so worth it. So if you imagine it like a bank account, like a credit system, and every time you choose the right thing, you choose discipline over dopamine, over easy way out, over quick fix, over just sedating or giving in to your primal urges, and you choose to do the right things, you push yourself harder in your workouts, you stick to the nutrition plan, you continue moving forward in those areas. Every time you do that, you make a small deposit. And over time, these small deposits add up into this huge benefit thing that you now can take out a line of credit against it, that you know that no matter what you do, that discipline muscle is going to carry you through, that discipline muscle is going to serve you and allow you to do the things that you need and want to do. That's a huge win. On the flip side, though, most people are constantly in debt when it comes to their discipline muscle. They're constantly taking the easy way out, taking the quick fix, avoiding doing the work, choosing sedation, dopamine, whether that's in the form of junk food, alcohol, drugs, TV, social media, porn, spending money, whatever it may be. They're choosing that quick dopamine fix rather than doing the work. Hell, it could even be staying in your warm, cozy bed in the morning rather than getting up and making time to get your workout in. And every time you know that you should do something and you don't do it, you take out a massive chunk of that credit. And most of the time now, so many people are so overdrawn on their discipline that they have nothing left, that they can't even call upon it in the moments when they really need it. And this is the problem. And this is why you have to start actively choosing to build this up. Because there are going to be moments when you need that, when you need the discipline, when you need the fortitude, when you need the grit to just show up and get it done. And if you haven't built that skill, if you haven't built that talent, and you've drained your reserves, that's a problem. And it falls into willpower as well. I think willpower and discipline are different things, but they are linked to each other. And willpower is literally a chemical reaction in the brain. So how long can you override that? And it's a bit like a muscle in that way as well, that as the day goes on and you use up more willpower, you have less of it. So, it's a finite resource. It's why most people will binge on junk food at night time, that they'll be good all day and then they'll binge at night, or on the weekend they'll be good all through the week and then they'll binge on the weekend, because you've used up your finite amount of willpower. But the more you practice discipline, the more that muscle builds up, the stronger it gets, and the less you have to tap into it to make those decisions, the less you have to utilize it to make the choices of doing the things that need to get done. Because the more you use discipline, the less of a gigantic ask, the less of a burden ask it becomes for you to do those tasks. And it's why 126 to Greatness is built the way it is, that it's about building that mental toughness. But as I said, most people are so into negativity, like a negative balance on their credit, that they have no hope of being able to utilize that. They have no hope of being able to follow the tenets that are laid out in 126 for 126 days. So what we do is we start with my 30-day weighted walk challenge, because it's one thing and it's 30 days, and anyone, and I mean fucking anyone, can do anything for 30 days. 45 minutes a day for 30 days. But I've picked this as the option very carefully, because it will change your life. It will build confidence. It will build that discipline muscle. It'll build that fortitude. It will build that habit. It'll build that consistency. It'll show you that you can keep your word, that you can be held accountable to something and consistently and unendingly show up to do that work. And that's what this is about. That's why we are here doing this kind of stuff, because you need that skill. And it's why we start with the 30 days. Because you aren't ready. You aren't even remotely ready to be able to be thrown into the lion's den and take on 126 days of perfection. You aren't there yet. But we'll build you there. We'll start off here. We'll start off with this simple task. 45 minutes a day. Chuck on a weight of some description. Weight vest, backpack with books or bricks or water jugs or whatever. You could carry kettlebells if you want. It doesn't matter. You pick something of weight and you go for 45 minutes as hard as you can outside for 45 minutes straight. And then you do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. It sounds really simple, right? Nothing to it. Simple as. It is. It's not easy, but it's simple. But this one action, 45 minutes a day for 30 days, will transform your whole life. It'll change your perception. You'll learn about who you are. Yes, your physical components will drastically change. The amount of weight that you will drop is just phenomenal, because you'll be conditioning. You'll be aerobic capacity. You're getting stronger. You'll be getting happier because you're doing this work. And it'll have this halo effect onto the other areas of your life. But it's the discipline and the grit that you'll learn. You'll start building that muscle, because every single day that you don't feel like doing this, and there will be a lot, because you'll be tired, you'll be sore, but every day that you do it, that you override this, is a day that you make huge steps forward. And you take a massive leap forward towards building that discipline that maybe, just maybe, you'll be ready to take on 126 to greatness and see every aspect of your life completely change. You think the 30 days is powerful? Try 126. That's a different beast of a thing. But you have to become a different animal to be able to take on that. And this is where we start. We start with building the discipline muscle. We start with instilling it. We start with retraining it and activating it and putting you in a positive place for it. None of this negative balance. We are building you back up so that you are able to handle it. And then you'll be able to handle the other areas of life. You'll be able to handle the stressful parts. You'll be able to handle when life throws curveballs at you. You'll be able to handle all those things that come your way. And that's an exciting part of it. That's the part that redefines who you are. It redefines what you are capable of. And that's the point. This is a mental and physical and emotional and spiritual reset. It's a reset that button and let me redetermine who I am and what I am capable of. Show me how discipline builds those things. And you will build that muscle, and you'll be able to utilize that in all areas of your life. Because discipline is that skill, that talent, that muscle, whatever you want to call it, that just keeps on giving. But, and it's a big motherfucking but, it must be utilized regularly. You must engage in the discipline of doing things that are difficult, because that's where you gain those knowledge from. That's where you gain that skill from. That's how you keep that muscle strong. And you stop wasting it away by constantly taking out from it and not keeping your word. And then that'll flow into all areas of your life. You gain confidence, not just from the physical transformation, but from the fact that you know that you can keep your word. That if you say something is getting done, it's fucking getting done. And that has impacts. That changes how you show up in areas. It changes how you then appear in all areas of your life. So you don't need more motivation. You need discipline. and you need to build it. You need to actively seek it out and work on building it like you would work on any other muscle group. And this is how we start. 30-day weighted walk, 45 minutes a day, outside. And there's standards that you must meet so that you know you're working, and then you push the level. But anybody, and I mean anybody, can do anything for 30 days for 45 minutes. It might just transform your entire life. So that's all I have for you. Now, if you want to take that on, if you are ready to join the 30 days weighted walk challenge, shoot me a message. Let's talk out the details and let's get you started to transforming your life. If you're not quite there, click the link in my bio and join the Daily Greatness Mail and grab yourself a copy of the top 10 tools to unstoppable mental toughness. Lastly, if you enjoyed it, if you found value, if you thought it was interesting, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone who could also benefit from it. But that's all I have for you. Until next time.